Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, and perhaps even good evening. Wonderful to see you all. I was just doodling around with Painter earlier, and I was thinking, hey, I should really just stream this and hang out and, give everybody else who's out there watching the opportunity to just watch over my shoulder. It is an absolutely amazing program, and I've just had so much fun with it. Usually when I doodle around, I do this on my Mac. So I thought perhaps I will do this instead on the Windows machine and recreate all the bits and pieces, all the steps that I've just, explored there over the last few days, and do it all on the Windows machine. It's one of those things I have had. Whoops, that needs to contain that new scene. Might as well just go and pop that in quickly. This here, that hasn't got that scene. Oh, there we go. It just needs to be on. Got it! Always with the tech, hey? One of those things. Got this sorted, got that sorted, great. So I've got a bit of a balancing act setup that I've got here. So I'm balancing my keyboard on my knees, I'm balancing my trackball also on my right leg, and I'm kind of balancing my small Wacom Intuos 4 tablet on my left leg. So there we go. That should do the trick. So I want to just play around today. There's nothing that I've got planned in particular. There's something that I'd like to try out, see if we can make it happen. And that is basically two things. That's just, you can just lose yourself in Painter so much. So I thought I'm going to do that and also try to be just a little bit productive. And I'm going to try the hose brushes and the photo brushes. So the hose brush is something that's a concept I've known from Clip Studio Paint or Manga Studio, where you can draw one or multiple images across the canvas, and it's really fun to play with that. So you can, like Clip Studio Paint had this thing where you can draw a fence in a line, and depending on where you move the brush, it'll just go and tweak and move this thing. Hey, Mr. Brian, how's it going? Welcome. Good to see you. And then the other one was, I think, a telephone pole. You could put that in, and every pole was drawn, and there's like wires between them. It's kind of cool. Still loading. How was work today, Brian? Good to see you. Thought I'd do a quick, 1 hour stream, because the more I'm looking into Painter, the more I'm just falling in love with this thing. It's crazy stuff. It's just absolutely marvelous. So one thing I discovered earlier was kind of a stone texture that you can just paint, and it's kind of seamless random stones. And I thought that's too good to be true. So I'm going to try and turn that into a shader for DAZ Studio, but also via Photoshop, because it needs to be a complete seamless experience. So I'm not sure if Painter can do that. I know Photoshop can do it. It's fairly easy. So we'll explore it all. I'm so glad I've upgraded to 21, because that's just, very cool. One thing that I have noticed on my new installation of Windows is that I think my system is less fast as it once was, which causes me great distress. So I don't know what that was. Yes, I saw your picture, Brian. What were the toxic things you were doing? I'm very intrigued by that. Does that have to do with the plastic molding thing again? Quite possibly. Righty then, image hose. That's the first one I'm going to try. So the image hose is in the Painter 11 brushes. I think it appears elsewhere as well, but in the Painter 11 brushes, it's kind of all the way down here, image hose. And all these things here, they are they're the same brush with different properties. So I think for my purposes, I'm going to use linear size W. We can try a few others out, but essentially this is how it works. Once you pick that and you have a new layer on your canvas here, you can pick up here, you can pick something like, I don't know, a car tire maybe. And if you then left click and drag, there's multiple car tires that will appear on the canvas. So the cool thing is there are multiple pictures that are kind of stored in this brush. I don't really know how it works, but if you do that, you get a random tire, and it is completely random, so you can't really predict which tire comes out. And then the brush that you pick determines how the tire comes out. So the tire kind of is round, so it doesn't really, you don't really see if it's rotated or not, but some brushes will rotate the texture that you pick. So that's kind of cool. Let's pick a different one. Just keep in mind linear size W. If we go and put like spray angle W, then you see that the tires appear in kind of a random fashion here. That's kind of interesting. And you can see where this is going. Imagine you had a texture of a leaf or multiple leaf type patterns. It just goes and, you know, scatters them around. So it's kind of cool. So very nice. But you can also pick other things like, you know, maybe a candle. And then you have a group of candles. So if you ever needed to draw a group of candles, this is how to do it. So you just don't even, you know, this is just so much fun. And imagine with our knowledge of 3D pictures, if we were to be able to make these types of brushes ourselves, it's going to be so cool. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I see these two cable things. Gotcha. Thank you. Yes, I always appreciate it when you do that, Brian. Let's see here. These are little flowers. So you just go and, you know, put flowers on there. This is a particularly interesting type of brush that is called the image hose. Under Painter 11 brushes, image hose. And these textures, I suppose they come with Painter. They're called nozzles, interestingly. There's also this here. There we go. It's like jelly beans or stones. And it's just so cool. You click once and you don't know which thing comes out or where exactly it puts it. But then you draw a whole cluster of them and it's just so much fun. Let's make them larger or smaller. So much fun. Oh, really? Dang, Brian, that is terrible. Aren't you subscribed with the Twitch Prime subscription? And if not, maybe you should be. I've actually, you know, I'm so annoyed by adverts on Twitch that I subscribe to Twitch Turbo. That means I have no more ads on Twitch ever. It's a tenner a month though, but it really is. I think it's killing it for me on Twitch when I want to check out new streamers and I just want to check them out for 30 seconds or for 10 seconds to see is this something I want to watch or not. And then the moment I want to do that, I get an advert. And then I do the advert for 30 seconds and I go, okay, now I'm going to watch the streamer for 10 seconds, knowing this isn't the guy I want to watch. Go to the next one and I get hammered with another ad. And I was thinking, no, that has to stop. So I just went with Twitch Turbo. Oh, okay, no worries. I got you. Yes, Chris deserves your support as well. I totally understand that. And thank you so much, Cosfo FX, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Very good. Awesome. Welcome to the stream. Let me go and delete that again. So this brush I'm playing with here is called the image hose. At the top left here, this is where I pick it. So it's not actually in the brand new brushes. I think the Painter 2021 or the 22 brushes, if you're lucky enough to have that. I think they have also got one, but they don't have as many variations. I'm just switching over to the 21 brush pack here, and we'll see if that I think it also has it. It's just got less variations. It's called image hose. Yeah, so it still exists. There's just, you know, much less of them in here. And I think the demo one has, oh yeah, there we go. It's just got, it kind of depends on which brush you pick. The texture stays intact as you pick it, but depending on what brush you pick, the picture gets copied kind of differently or sprayed out slightly differently. And I thought in the Painter 11 brushes, I'm kind of used to the one that says size W. So one spray, which means they're kind of, I mean, a bit bigger. Spray means it just puts it around in a kind of random fashion. And size P, that's just a different size, but it kind of does the same thing. So I'm going to go back to the Painter 11 brushes here, and then use image hose from there, just because I like that kind of setup there. Hey, Mr. Rod, top of the afternoon, sir. I'm so glad you could make it. Thank you so much for the coffee earlier. I appreciate that, Rod. That was a wonderful surprise. Thank you. I appreciate that. In fact, I'm having a coffee on you right now, Rod. Wonderful. Thank you. So let's do this thing. Under image hose, I'm going to use just linear size W, and I'll go and delete all that. And we've got our bits and pieces again. But also, I'm going to go and pick something else. So what else we got? This here. Also interesting. So again, if I click, it just picks one of the images it has at random, and then does that. And maybe I need to have something else, maybe spray angle B. So if I do it angled, then the angle of the way I'm holding the brush also is taken into account. That's interesting. And on the round thing, it doesn't really show. But if I have something like this here, it certainly could. Well, if I pick the right brush here, it certainly does show. If I'm pulling this down or to the left or to the right or to the top or to the bottom. It's just very nice how you can just draw a cluster of things, and it's kind of weirdly photorealistic, and you don't really get to see all these repetitions. So it's ideal for shader creation, I'm thinking. And every texture just has something exciting there. This is how I've spent the last days, really, just going through Painter brushes and thinking, oh my god, this does that? That's so exciting! I'm so glad you could get it. This is really cool. Linear size. What else we got? Spray angle. There we go. Linear angle. There we go. That's neat. So let me see if I can put this texture of these guys. Ragweed. Oh yeah, ragweed. There we go. It's a bit like cattail. And I think this always draws it upside down. That's nice. I like that. But if I had an angled brush, this wouldn't always be upside down. And so with this, it wouldn't be all that good. Yeah, maybe I'll go make myself a kind of a background layer brush. Let's go and put a gradient in at the back. Gradient is, no, not this. This is a gradient. And then gradient, we just do that. And pick a funky little color. So, oops. I think that's how it works. Maybe it's kind of a sky. I like it. There. Kind of a sky. Lock it in and draw with our brush. There, nice. Ragweed. By a lake or whatever. Very nice. But if I had something that would put this brush on an angle, it would mean... It's so cool, you can draw your own forest. This is so cool. Yes, I was thinking that as well, Rod. I was thinking that as well. It's just so fun. So if I had a different brush here, one that is not a linear angle, but something like, so I suppose size is then one in which my pressure sensitivity makes the size of the brush. Let's go reset this. Yes, if I press lightly, it's smaller. If I press harshly, it gets bigger. That's an angle size brush. But then there was also one. Was it size or angle D? There we go. Maybe we'll try that. Oh yes, there we go. So now it really depends on how I hold my pen. So if I go and pull it like this is the direction in which these guys are being drawn. And if I hold the pen, if I kind of follow the pen like this, so just looking at this gray little thing, which direction it points at, this is where my grass will be grown from. So very cool that you have that variation on the Wacom pen. It's very, very cool. So for something like this, so you can always go and draw it kind of going up. Maybe if you had something, like a mountainy thing. Follows the brush stroke. But if you don't want that, then you can go and just pick, is it linear size? Yeah, there we go, linear size. And it's always the same size. Oh, size P, size with pressure. Very nice, more variation. So much fun. Madness Middles is here, how you doing? Rod, even better. Ah, see, I was zoomed in there. That's terrible. I was zoomed in. Even better, Rod. If I do something like this, I'm so sorry that I was zoomed in there. Let me show you. I can go and save this, Rod. Super cool. Save as. Check it out. Painter riff format. That's its native format. So Painter saves as riffs. It's kind of cool extension here. But check all this out if you can. Can you? Yes, you can. Photoshop PSD files with layers intact will be exported. Or TIFF files, or flattened PNGs, or JPEGs, or GIFs or Targas. Even bitmap if you like. But yeah, it does save PSD files too. So pick it up in Photoshop, as well as the other way around. If you've got something that's made in Photoshop, you can bring it into Painter directly and add a layer and then bring it back. It's so cool. The only thing it doesn't import apparently is what's it called here? The layer effects. So if you had like a drop shadow with blending modes, it doesn't import that apparently. But it will if you turn that layer into, or if you turn that effect into its own layer, it will do that. So let me go bring that dark background back and pick another brush here. Look at that, there's little flowers. You can paint all kinds of things. You just paint them in. So yeah, don't only just have the poppy seeds, you also have the grass with the poppy seed. That's neat. Oops. I must make sure not to paint on the background layer, of course. It's very nice. What else? So we had candles already. We had, what is this? This is, oh yeah, this is stones here. Nice. Little stone path. These are guys that technically they are parachutists. Maybe, you know, if you have too many of them. All of them falling from the sky. In various colors and angles. Hey, Emerga, how's it going? Good to see you. Good evening to Belgium. I thought I'd be the warm-up act for Chris today. I think he's streaming at 7 if I remember correctly. What have we got here? Oh, look at that little row of houses. Oh my god, that is just so cool. So you can literally build your own scenes from that. If you need a row of houses, there's tons of houses now. And then you can make your own shaders with that. So do we have people too? Let's see, we have people. And we have all kind of signs from the city. Look at that, traffic lights and stuff. Great. That's got to be kind of in the middle here somewhere. Neat. Right, and even if you only just needed one, so you can just go and pick one, but the cool thing is you don't really know which one it picks. So if you just want to have individual ones, you can do that. And then maybe I'm not going to have the pressure size variation. I'm just going to go with size W. There we go. Yeah, so if you just needed one of these things, but you don't really mind which one it puts, you just go and put one. And then you never know what comes out. It's really nice. Very funky. So the one, I'm really impressed with all of these brushes here, but one of the ones that I'm most impressed with is this one here. So this here, make it a little larger, is essentially drawing me stone tiles, but random ones. And then if I go and keep painting as like a tile, it's all imperceptibly random yet seamless. So that is really cool. I was really intrigued by this for textures, and I was thinking this is actually really cool. I want to try and make that. If you think there's in one area there's something that's repeating a little bit too much, you just pop a few others in here and then go, hey, this is kind of awesome, isn't it? Oh my. Is that cool or what? Hey there, Joe, how's it going? Welcome, good to see you. Yeah, so very exciting. And I was thinking this would be ideal to turn this into a square, then just paint that square out, take the square into Photoshop, use the offset filter, and then bring it back into here, and then just smooth out the seam it makes. And then we have a seamless tile that can then be used for painting this texture as a shader. I was thinking that is kind of cool. Isn't that awesome? It's just so awesome. And it's just this brush engine, and that just makes it. I'm looking forward to creating my own brushes with this. And if you needed some candles, then you can also put some candles on it. No problem. Or wheels, was it, if we needed tires as well. Random tires. So cool. Which name was that? Which name did I say? I don't remember. It's so long ago. What else? I think those were all the cool things. And what is this? Oh, there we go. Bit of grout. Bit of a rough wall syndrome going on here. That'll also be a good shader. Because I'm thinking, if we do this and just as a little test, if we turn this into a square and then turn it into a Photoshop PSD, do the offset filter, come back here and seam it all up, then go into DAZ Studio and see if we can turn it into an actual shader. That'd be kind of cool, because in Photoshop we could also make a bump map. Might not be perfect, but it's certainly, you know, certainly something. So that's totally my plan. In fact, why don't we do that now? Let's go and try that. I'm going to make a new document. I'll say 1200 by 1200. I don't really know how good the quality of the original image is. There we go. Just make it. Just make sure it's kind of on here. All right, I think this is kind of the full tile. I'm hoping we're seeing nothing terribly repeated here. Oh, it was you. Okay, cool. I will stop feeling guilty then. I'll put this on my desktop maybe with a new little folder here and call it Shader Test. So in here then, let's call that one brick wall, and let's go and export that as a PSD. So this is kind of a good test to see how it actually arrives. So I should have two layers. One's just my dark canvas and one's a regular layer. Let's see what Photoshop has to say about this. Guilty as charged. You know, the really bad news is I think I'm running out of coffee. That is seriously not cool. Brian, also nice thumbnail image on your lip sync video that you've just released. That's very cool. It's a very eye-catching thumbnail, I thought. Shader test, PSD file. Let's check it out, see what it looks like. There it is, and it's exactly how we left it in Painter. We've got that dark background here. Oh yeah, I see. There's one little thing that we need to just smooth out, one that I didn't quite catch, and then there's this layer. How exciting is that? So with this then, I think I don't often do that, but there is a filter that is called offset, and I have no idea where that is. I can do it manually, but there is a very cool filter for this. Do you remember where that is, Rod? It probably isn't the 3D one. The 3D one, this is for the normal map, so we can try and do that. Even a height map, that's cool. Height and normal map that we can make from that. Not noise, not pixel, doesn't render. I don't think it's render either. Sharpen, stylize. Could it be other? Offset, that's the one. Clickbait, that's what it is, exactly. But hey, if it works, all good. So mine's 1200 by 1200, so I'm going to make it a 600 and 600 pixel offset. Do I want to wrap it around, repeat at the edge? Oh my goodness. Or set to transparent? I want to wrap around, don't I? That's not how to do that. I think we just do one direction first. Or do we do both directions? I can't remember. No. We need to do one direction first. One direction so we can fill this out and then we do it again. I think that's how we do that, isn't it? Because if we do this now, so this side and that side, they're now okay. I think, is that how it works? If we do this again, no, we can't do that again. Am I making a thinking mistake here? I might do. Same here. I haven't used it in such a long time. I'll go and oversave it. And I suppose... Can I pick it up in here now? Basically like, you know... Like in Photoshop there's a way to just refresh the image. I wonder if that's available here. Maybe it isn't. Maybe I'll just go close this and then reopen it again. Oh, I'll close this as well. Our earlier efforts. I'm sure there's a better way to do this. Brick wall oversaved. Now this is what it looks like, and if we were to go back to our layer with the same brush, we just go and paint that in now. And now it's seamless everywhere except for top and bottom. Oversave. And this now, doesn't this have an option to just basically suck it in? Like in, as in a revert, we can't use revert. Gotcha, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe I just go and open it again. So now it looks like this. That's cool. Now we go and do the same thing again with the offset filter, but the other way around. So offset, this is the same, but this we'll have 600. Haha! Oh man, we're getting somewhere. We do this. We can probably close this down. Also this. Open that up again. Aha! And once again, on the layer, let's go fill in our stones. So it might be that I have to do it again, and I you know, I'm not entirely sure. Let's just hope it's all right. Save, close, back in Photoshop. Have a look at that. Now let's go and see if we can find anything with wraparound edges. I could just define this as a material and then paint it out and then check the edges. I could do that. If I do 0 and 0, it looks like... Maybe I'm okay, actually. Let me try that out. So, edit, layer even. How do I do that now? Kind of define material. Where is that again? Was it type? There's so many things that if you don't use them all the time, the brain just goes, nah, we don't need that anymore. Or was that something along the lines of save as material? I think it's an edit define. That could be edit define. There it is. Yes. Edit define pattern. 10 points rod. That's the spirit. And I'm just going to call it brick wall. This is exciting. And now that calls for a new document. Let's make something in the along the lines of 1920 by 1080 for now. I'm okay with a white background. I'm not okay with a white background. What are you thinking? And on here, I'm gonna go and pick a brush, make it a bit bigger. This is a brand new installation of Windows as well as Photoshop, so I'm not entirely there yet with all my with all the things that need to be there where they are. And this is fine. Now we go and say blending options, and we'll go and put a pattern overlay on this, and in the pattern, oh, this looks kind of nice. Why can't we see it? I'm going to use my wall here, but why can't we see it? That's bizarre. This is still white. Why is that? Should there not be a pattern here now that I've added it here? Huh. Well, let's use a flood fill instead then. I don't mind. That was under here, wasn't it? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Photoshop, don't be difficult about this. Paint bucket. There. I'll just go put pattern overlay on here. That should work, right? Shouldn't it? Fill with the pattern. That's also a possibility. But then if you fill with the pattern directly, that is so... There we go. That is so... what's the word? Well, that's so final and unadjustable, isn't it? So I do see some lines here still. So it looks like it's not quite tileable. Not as tileable as I had hoped it was going to be. Well, let's make the vertical switch again. Other offset. It's horizontal, isn't it? It's not vertical. Yeah, oh, I can see a massive piece here in the middle missing. But I didn't really see any other bits and pieces there. There, maybe I'll just shift it like this, bring this back into Painter, and then just fill out the last cracks that way. Like this. And maybe there's some bits and pieces here. I don't really see the horizontal issue that I saw earlier there. That looks all right, doesn't it? Probably, yes. It's so much fun, Rod. And then, of course, there's other things like also powered by Painter, things like the particle shop. Oh my goodness, that is really cool as well. That we can take a look at as well. Brick wall. Oops, didn't I save it? Sorry about that. Save. Close, open. I'm sure there's a way to bring this back. There we go. Let's go on image, define, edit even, edit, define pattern, brick wall 2, and then in here, if we go double click pattern overlay, and then we say, hey, let's use brick wall 2 instead. I still see things here. What's going on? Why isn't it seamless yet? Does it have something to do with size here? Can't be. Scale, repetitiveness, something like that. Make it bigger, make it smaller. I mean, I suppose if you look close enough, you do see the whole pattern repetition, but not bad. Oop. Yeah, I just don't know where this comes from because I really didn't see that. And it should be visible in horizontal. I don't know where that is. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't know what it's talking about. No matter which way I move it, I just can't see it. Let me go and move it. Let me go and duplicate this. And then we'll move this kind of to here. Just manually, that'll work as well. And then this goes, whoops. Do it seriously. Stay, then you go and do that. Oh, you don't meet. Why don't you though? Is what I want to know. That's true, Stamp Brush would clone it all out. It's now that actually that I've put them both together, I barely see it. Actually, they are matching, aren't they? So I don't know what Photoshop's complaining about. I had kind of expected that to be easier, and it might actually well be easier by just using the clone Stamp Brush directly in Photoshop. That might well be. Is this image the correct size here? Or the canvas rather? Yeah, 1200. And then the canvas is the same, isn't it? I just want to make sure. Yeah, it is. That's good. Good stuff. Well. It is, but the... Hang on a minute. No, there's something isn't right here. Something isn't right here, because the canvas itself is actually larger. I think that is what the problem is. I think that is what the problem is. Do you see that? If I move it, there is actually more material on the left and right, and I think that is what led to the... That's what led to the problem. I think. Let me just go and open this again. I'd like to get to the bottom of this. Brick wall. Canvas size, definitely just 1200 by 1200. I'd like to, maybe I'll go to collapse maybe I'll just merge visible. There we go. So now if I go and do this, yeah, okay, now this doesn't happen. Okay, cool. It is like that if you have layered images. Sometimes the layer is larger than what you see, and I think that would have been maybe the problem. Let's see if the offset, what the offset filter does now. If I say 600 and 600, right now I can see the lines. That's perfect. Okay, let me go and try to save that and let Painter take care of that. Now I see the lines. I think that was the problem. Good point. Yeah, there are those ugly lines. And one straight here. There. And so then also, let's go, yeah, save that again, close it. See, it's not actually that as easy as it looks, isn't it? Now we have that, now we do this again, same thing, so we'll go and merge this down, and merge visible. Now we'll go do that filter thing again, in fact, that way. And now it's just a matter of looking closely. Do we still see stuff? Yeah, like here. Yeah, that's naff, isn't it? Well, still not perfect. But with a little bit of patience, that would just totally work, wouldn't it? Let me define this as a pattern now. Edit, define pattern. Brick wall number 3. Right, absolutely, Rod. This would be, you're good at this. Absolutely, you should do that. You should absolutely do that. That would be really beneficial. You have so many funky little Photoshop tricks up your sleeve. It's really, it would be wonderful if you could share that with the world. There we go. This is now pretty much seamless. I can perceive like a bit of a line here, but that's just, you know, that's just me. This is pretty seamless as far as I'm concerned. This is neat. This is neat. So imagine this is it now. Let's go and save that out as a PNG. Shader test, and we call it brick wall PNG. That's fine. Now let's go and try to also make a normal map out of that. It's not going to be a real normal map, but you know, it's one of those things. Could be a good stand-in for a normal map. So much fun. Rod, the other thing I'm going to show you in a minute is the photo brushes, how they how you can make little adjustments in your photos without having to worry about applying filters as such. This is such a really cool way of working. Map's certainly going kind of, is it in or is it out? Is it the right way around? No, it was the right way around, wasn't it? I like it. Perfect, normal map. Boom. Let's save that also out. What is going on here? Deleted files. That's fine. You good. That's good. Brick wall. Bump. And I don't think we need a height map as such. And let's see what DAZ Studio thinks about this. Or Blender. Or whatever. Let's start with DAZ Studio. Yes, the photo brushes, so they are literally, the Humble Bundle contains how many? I think about 20 or so extra brushes you can install, but that's completely voluntary. So the ones that come with, oh dear, I need to set this up, don't I? Ugh, might as well do that while I'm here. But the brushes that come with it are extremely cool, and they contain the brushes from previous versions of Painter as well. Environment, I don't need that. Scene's good. Parameters lives over here. Draw settings goes down here. Shaping, we don't need. Face transfer, no. Posing, no. Surfaces, yeah, actually that we need. That goes over here. Lights, no. Less, I say less. Less is more. Cameras, no. Lesson strip, no. There, haha, we're getting there. Simulation settings I like to keep over here. There. Yeah, Rod, I had a Windows issue that accidentally I went on the power button here, and instead of saying shut down, I think I had my cursor parked literally 1 pixel above shutdown, which said hibernate, and my hardware doesn't support it. So the next thing I know, my computer tries to do it and waits for 10 minutes, doesn't do anything. I had to press the big power button. Windows completely balked, so balked that not even the Windows installation CD could bring it back to life. So it's like completely toast. The hard drive itself works perfectly fine. I have access to my data, but Windows just refuses to boot. So I picked up a new hard drive, slightly larger, so that's quite nice. Installed everything from scratch. And well, now I'm basically at that point. That was only yesterday, so I've got all the apps, but it's just, man, it just takes forever to do this. And there's never a good time for this either. So I kind of appreciate that happens. Kind of like you with DAZ, exactly, yes. So let's just go with maybe a plane. Kind of also depends a bit on the normals of that. Oh yeah, that's the first thing that we're going to do in draw options under drawing. Just the bounding box, please. And then under tool settings, that's a tab that we actually need. Tool settings. Let's park that kind of here. Render settings can go up here. Tool settings, line width, I like that for a little bit thicker. There we go. That's neat. And then also, I suppose, while I'm here, I might as well just set this up. Preferences, startup, load file. It is actually in startup with filament. Perfect. That's that. And also when I make a new scene, please do the same thing. Startup with filament. Perfect. Groovy. So here I don't have it. I'm just going to go and create a new filament draw options node. And then with that, I'm going to dim down the burning my retinas out environment intensity scale. There we go. Cool. All right. So the UVs then on this little guy. That's it. Square UVs. I like it. That's neat. Just so that I can get an indication of will this work okay or not. So under base, let's put the base color in on my super minimal shader brick wall. Check it out. Brick wall, currently flat. Also, my glossy might not be a good look for my wall. Might as well call this wall. Nothing normal about this CG stuff. I know. Let's see. So bump, normal. Picking up the bump here. Yes, look at that. Bumpiness has come to town. I think the only thing I'd like to change probably is the shininess of the object. It's probably still very glossy. And also what I must admit is that my system is no longer as snappy as it was before this reinstallation. And I really don't know why. So yeah, we don't need the CPU here, just the GPUs. That's cool. And then we also don't really want to have fallback. Detection is good. Check GPU drivers and we can do that. That's cool. And of course it's inverted. So that's just an issue we just need to know about. So it's the wrong way around, the normal. So I should have inverted that in Photoshop. That's good to know. We know that now. We can just put it to -1. Oh, can't do that because, you know, thingy needs to be set to not use limits. Good stuff. Let's do -1 and then it's inverted. So now it's things are coming out. Or if we wanted to make it bigger, -10. That's gonna, is that maybe a little bit? Nope, that's all we can do here. Base bump, I suppose we can take out a height map in Photoshop. We can try that out. So this I might just not worry about. This we also don't worry about. Let's go and open that again. Turn that into a height map. Bump height map, cool. Let's have both. And let's not invert the height here either. I'm just thinking we'll leave it as it is. Just see how it comes out. If we need to invert it, which it looks like the normal map needed to be inverted, I have a feeling the bump maps probably also needs that treatment. Then we just know next time how to do that. Oh, see, yes. Right, cool. And then all of a sudden we bring all these funky toys together. This is really what I find exciting. Putting all these things together and thinking, hey, that's just awesome. Still working on it. Or is he? Are you done here? Nope, still doing things. What is he doing? This looks fascinating. Yes, exactly, Rod. Oh yeah, well, let's explore the photo brushes in a minute. Because they are just so cool. The stuff you can do just with a normal photo, just by painting over it. Like anything from just adding a little saturation here with a brush, adding a little bit of sharpening here, adding dodge and burn like we know already, but also some really, really cool things that I hadn't seen in Photoshop yet. Brick wall. Bump. Oh no, that's the bump. That's the... I didn't call the normals normals. I called the normals bump. I'll call this bump too. Jeez. There, not saving this. It's a base bump. Let's just call this. Let's just put this in here. And this needs to be enabled. Hopefully it goes the right way. Look at that. I think it might be. Put that higher. Yes, look at that. So the bump doesn't need to be increased. There we go. We've got bump. We have bump. Like proper bump. Ha 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 ha. And just like that, we've turned something two-dimensional and totally gimmicky into something that is now usable in the 3D world. Is that amazing or what? Ha! Very cool. I am seriously pleased because this passes off as a wall in the background, no problem. And it's paintable just like that. Ah! NFT it, yes, absolutely. Jay's first wall. Or make 10,000 different ones. The wall NFT series. So cool. Hey, this is nice. I like it. I don't like what DAZ Studio is doing there. I'm not entirely sure why it's doing that. But hey, let's just go and not question it. Look at the photo brushes instead. Whoa. Bzzzt. Ouch. We don't need to save that. Haha. DAZ Studio. Yes, I like it. So the photo brushes. And all that stuff, Rod, for 30 bucks. So we haven't even touched on these other brushes that come with this pack. I mean, that is just... I've just been going through this brush by brush. I've been making a video that actually balked up, so I need to do it again. I've put all the Humble brushes together in this collection here, because by default, if you install them, it goes and puts them into the 2021 brush set. But look, these are all the brushes that I have from this time and from the previous Humble bundle from last year that I also bought, which was just so cool. These are all the brushes that they give you extra, and it's like hundreds of dollars that they want to charge you for that. So some seriously exciting stuff there. But even without those, the stuff you get just with these brushes, they're all in there. Painter 11 brushes is what I'm going to pick now, because there's this category up here somewhere called photo, down here actually, photo. So just some vocabulary in case you ever come across this. This here is called a brush library. Each one of these things is a library. And then these here on the left hand side, go away, there. On the left hand side, these are brush categories, and these here then are the original, the brushes. So in my case, I see, no, this is actually wrong. I need to go to these ones here, 2021 brushes. I think they have better photo brushes. Somewhere here in this massive list we have... No, we don't. Where are the photo brushes? I had so many on my Mac. Where are they here? Maybe it's in 2015. It's in 2015. I suppose when new versions of Painter come out, they might remove some brushes. I think this was in Paint 2015 here. Let's see. Takes a moment for this to load. Oh my god, those are such cool tools as well. Rebel and Flame Painter. I have to check out Flame Painter actually. 2015 brushes, and isn't photo. There we go. Yes, there we go. Those are them. Those are them. And it's neat, so the ones that are crossed out means you can't use them at the moment. The other ones you can, but the crossed out ones, I think it means you need to have a particular photo layer for that. So let's go and bring a photo in. File place is like the Photoshop embed image. So that's the same thing. And I'm going to use some from my Among Trees series here. Just screenshots I've taken from within a video game. Something cool, maybe like this. Yeah, like this actually. This is a nice picture. I'm sure there's a trick to place it in the middle of the canvas. I'm sure it works somehow. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. So once that's in there, I think then you can go and pick any of the other brushes here. Like if you have a blur brush and if you want to do something, then it'll say commit the reference layer to an image, and you can say yes, commit, and then this turns into the image that you want to work on. So blur brush, I suppose, as the name suggests, you're going to make things blurry, but very subtly. Basically your own additional depth of field option here. Make these trees in the background a little bit blurrier. That's kind of nice to just paint that in. I really like that. And just like that, we also have things like the dodge and the burn, but we know those from Photoshop already. So this is a dodge. Those are actually old photography terms. And you used to have this is where these icons in Photoshop come from. With burn, you literally put more exposure from the enlarger onto the photo paper on a particular spot. You used to have basically like a piece of paper with a cutout with a mask. You put that into the light path and you say, hey, somebody's face needs to be lightened up or whatever, or darkened down. That's dodge and burn. And then you just give that more light or less light. On the other hand, if you wanted to give something less light, you had a little, it's almost like a little stick with a round plate at the top, and you would put that onto the spot that needed less light, and just fan that around to put say the exposure of the photo was like 10 seconds. You just fan that around, and then therefore whatever object you're fanning out gets less light. And that's how these things get burnt or dodged. So that's dodge, and then burn is here. Burn is the opposite. Burn makes something darker. It's kind of nice. We can do this in Photoshop anyway, so we can just, paint these things in, and it's nice for highlights and shadows. If you want to use that and you fill something out with flats, and then you want to give it a bit of dimension, you can totally do that with dodge and burn. They're really good filters because they don't just add white or black to it. It's like a very partial mask, like that you apply on this. So it's very nice to do that. It's very subtle. So there's ways to make this effect stronger, but it's kind of nice that this is here. The dodge tool, yes. See, me too, Rod, which is why we're so familiar with these terms. What else? Colorize airbrush, colorizer, diffuser brush, scratch remover. There were other things in here, Rod. I don't know where they've gone. Maybe they're just on my Mac. And they were seriously cool. Like all the weirdo things, like the turbulence and all kinds of other funky things. Where are they? Maybe it's not in 20. Maybe it's in 11. Maybe it is in 11. Maybe it's in 12, 13. That's also possible. I'm going to hunt for them. Image hose, and there's photo. Fine diffuser. Nope, that's not it either. So the good news is that the brushes are compatible between Mac and PC. So if I do have them on my Mac and I can't find them here, I could just go and grab them from my Mac and then just bring them over like that. Us old guys, right? Yes, exactly. Man, and isn't life changing all the time? Photos. See, no, I don't see them here. On the Mac, they are seriously so cool. Oh, where else would they be? If they're not in 2021, maybe they're in 2020. Because there's things that essentially turn the whole image around, they turbulence things. It's just so cool. And I thought it was definitely in the photo category. I see this doesn't even have a photo category anymore. It's not in FX now, is it? No, this is, yeah, oh yeah, that's right, Distorto. So this is one that I found on the map, on the Mac in here. Distorto was nice. It's like Liquify on steroids. Just move trees over here. There's also Pinch I found, makes trees a little bit slimmer. Yeah, I think what I really like is that everything's a brush. In Photoshop, sometimes these things are a little bit difficult to find. But there was a brush that just basically makes this kind of... was it Hurricane? Yeah, it could be Hurricane. Yes, there we go. Oh, so they've put them in different categories here. That's fun. So if ever the world completely turns. And then of course if I think animation, I can literally just record the screen like that and then just have this play backwards. And then from this mess an image happens at one point. Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't known that there's differences between the Mac and the PC version. So, interesting. Woo! Yes. Can you tell what it is yet? Because I can't. Good thing there's undo. Yes. That's it. No more undo. Maybe I need to enable more undo in the preferences. GPU, yes. Allocate to Painter. Undo levels 32. Yes. Let's make that a few more, shall we? Maybe how about 99? Is that something we can talk about here? 128. How's that? It's a good computer term. There. That's right, Rod. Mine too. And you know what? I find myself playing this like a computer game. I sit down, I'm not productive with this at all. I just doodle around and have an enormously good time. At the end of the day, that's what life's all about, isn't it? Whoop, fog jitter. There were so many cool things that I don't know why they're not here. Glow marble rake. That's right. That was also in the photo filter there on the Mac. Oops, it's a little bit large, isn't it? Some don't make all that much sense. Marble rake, like going through the sand. Huh. Well, okay, this isn't exactly what I wanted. Let's go close this down and get another one in. Oh, I think I can just go and open one of those images, can't I? Can I do that? I think it just opens these by itself. There we go, good. And I think, and if I've done that, can I then do, oh yeah, I can go start working on this immediately. That's kind of nice. Okay, good. The marble rake isn't what I want to do. Yes, I wonder, maybe these brushes that I've found are actually only available on the Mac then. Otherwise I would find them here in the photo category. Right, exactly. I mean, the thing is with Painter, I've heard of this, but I've never really indulged in it. I mean, I just never really had reason to it, to use it. Last year I bought it, and then I just never really, I never really did anything with it. And it's only now that I've had a look at it. Oh yes, awesome. Yeah, shame I can't show you that. I'll see if I can grab them from the Mac. Maybe they're just, you know, a different category, or maybe I'll just find them elsewhere here. That's possible. Yes, photo brushes. I'm not giving up. In 5 minutes, Chris will be on. That'll be exciting. I think he's going to work on some Santa Claus stuff, which is neat. Well, there's also Sumi. That's nice. Yeah, they don't have photo brushes here. Just FX. And then there's Impasto. Rod, can you help me with this? Do you know what Impasto is? Because I can't make head or tail of it. Or maybe this is why they've removed them, because this is a little bit like what some of these brushes did that I found on the Mac there. You can give things texture on top of it, and this is a little bit like what this does. So essentially like a surface layer that gives more texture to something. Some require a different layer type. So there's like a watercolor layer. Can have a look at that. That's kind of nice. It's kind of like a really thick oil painting. Oh, I see. So this basically, maybe this just gives it a texture. Right. So that's neat. So it's not really, I'm not giving it color here. I'm just adding texture to these things. This is one of those things that the Photoshop, the photo brushes could do. So you could literally pick an area and then go and give it texture, but like a 2.5D texture, essentially what the ZBrush guys like doing. That didn't do anything. Depth equalizer, depth eraser, depth lofter, distorto impasto. Oh good, let's do that. That sounds exciting. Whoops. No, that's totally distorting my trees. I don't want to do that. That's terrible. Distorto impasto. Pattern emboss. Now we're talking. Right. We're embossing it with rose patterns. But without color, we're just adding a bit of texture in here. And then, of course, this is another exciting thing. You can change that pattern, I think. Ugh, that was under... somewhere. There's another panel you open for that. Color brush control panels. Here's media panels. Patterns. All right, 10 points. There's also a way to make that a little bit larger here. I think. View large, much better. Maybe pick this. Oh yes, goody. And then it gets that kind of texture on it. But imagine like you had a flat, just a flat brown plane, or it didn't render correctly, or there was no depth map in there or whatever. You just paint something like that on it to give it a bit of roughness just on the 2D picture. That's just so cool. Like, you know, that house front that just looks like a brown bland thing. You just add a little bit of this in and all of a sudden, there's a striking effect. Yes, very nice. Shame I don't have a suitable picture here for that to try that out. Maybe I can go and place something else in. I had had one, yeah, this one here with the campfire. Let me go place this one in. Yes, and then also obviously match it up with the layer. I haven't quite found out how to do that yet. Oh look, that's already got that texture on it now. Interesting. Don't know how it got that, but it affects the whole layer stack. So that's another interesting thing. Rod, what are we finding out? This is just so cool. Don't you love it when you get a tool that you didn't even know before, and then all of a sudden you think, oh my god, I can't stop playing with it. So place this image in. Yeah, this is an ideal example of that. If this, maybe I'll go and, should I duplicate it? Yeah, just duplicate that just in case. If I had this tent here, and the tent is just a little bit boring. And I just go give it a bit of more interesting notes here. Ha! I love it. And then maybe on the front here, maybe this part. No, that doesn't look great, but look at that. It's almost a new... It's just new detail that's just come to that image. I'm very impressed. Oh, there we go. This is nice. So this is grass, isn't it? So if we have grass in the front here, and that just looks too flat, we just put grass detail in here. Oops. Ah. Endless possibilities. Right, exactly. Yes, I'm like that. This is always stuff to learn. Oh, this is a nice little leather texture here. We can try that too. I'm sure there's a way to change the size of the texture, but look at that. All of a sudden, haha. Let me go back to these photo brushes here in Painter 11 that we had there, because I think that was a saturation brush. I kind of enjoyed that. This would be ideal for the fire there if we wanted to make that a bit more impressive. You just saturate just this area in, make the fire a little bit warmer. It's just cool, isn't it? And you can desaturate other areas. That's really cool. Here, if I go to the other thing here and say the... Oh yeah, fine diffuser. That's also nice if the fire is a bit... if it's so hot that it's actually glowing here, but just around here, that's just cute, isn't it? Scratch remover, sharpen, diffuse colorizer, burn, dodge, add green. Oh yeah, what's add green? Oh yeah, that adds basically something like that. I wonder if they've basically taken this principle and then went to town with it and called it impasto and made it a completely new feature. I have a feeling that's probably what they've done, and then just make that just apply that to other areas. Maybe that's how it worked. As I said, I'll see if I can make these brushes, if I can grab them out of Mac, because they were just so cool to just play around with. How's Mr. Chris doing then? Is he online? Is he streaming tonight? He's certainly streaming art, so we're going to totally go over there and rate the guy, because, you know, that was just super awesome. Hey, thanks for hanging, Rod, Brian, anyone else who's watching. This was really exciting. I'm going to be back tomorrow here on Twitch around about the same time with Nate. We're doing another one of those NFTs for noobs episodes, and it'll be exciting because Nate and I are going to explore how to put things like this on OpenSea so that they can be sold through the blockchain. And it'll be a nice little chat. We just always have things to talk about, and Nate is just so much better at these things than I am. So definitely going to be cool. Yes, play with Painter, play more with Painter. Super exciting news. They have elongated the offer, so they're selling this bundle for another, I think, almost 2 weeks. So this is really cool. I'd like for all of us to recommend that to anyone and everyone who's using 3D and 2D bits and pieces, because it's just such a cool thing to play with. I might come back with this next week as well, just play a little bit of Painter stuff and Particle Shop and all these other cool things that come with it. So my friends, join me tomorrow or on Saturday on YouTube. I have a wonderful night, and I'll see you over at Chris's. Take care.